What's going on, y'all? This is my first video I've ever made about my 2010 Buick Enclave. I should have made plenty more videos because I've replaced almost damn near everything on this car besides the transmission and a couple electrical things like starter, alternator, water pump, stuff like that. I replaced CV axles, wheel bearings, struts, springs, you name it. It's all been fixed on this damn thing. So what my issue was with this car, I was driving on the interstate. I seen that my display on my dash said battery saver active, which I had no idea what the hell was going on because my battery light turned on. And all of a sudden I see my voltage go from like 13 something straight to 8. And then every mile I was driving, it would just drop. And by the time I hit around 5, about 5, my car engine light started flashing, traction control, stable track, all that turned off. So I was like, what the hell's going on with my car? So I kept driving. About 3 miles later, I'm going 65 miles an hour on the highway. As soon as my car hits 0 volts, the car just jogs forward. I go 65 straight to 40 miles an hour. I don't know what the hell happened. It sounded like the transmission blew. It made a big ass whine sound. So I throw the car neutral, let it coast, so I'm able to pull off to the side of the road, put it in park, let it sit there about 15 minutes. And then I try to turn it back on. No power was given to the car at all whatsoever. No lights, nothing. So I had the car towed about 2 days later finally, because it was during the holidays. And I had seen that I guess they call it positive battery junction block cable. So what it is a fuse, 200 fuse. As you can tell, it is freaking fried. And what caused it to fry, I have no idea. But I knew that was the issue on why my battery drained, because it wasn't charging. Because obviously the alternator, this is connected to the alternator. And then this part down here, this connects to the starter down there, which I'm about to show you in a little bit. And then this end connects to the fuse box in the engine bay, which is right here. To this part right here, this is the post that connects to the fuse box. And then, well, I have this new wire already hooked up, but this is the new positive battery cable. And then here's the other cable that connects to the battery in the car behind the passenger on the floor. So what I had to do was look up a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to do this. I could not find anything about it. So I had to just keep watching a bunch of videos of different stuff, like how to take off, because I knew I would have to get under there because I was following the cable. As soon as I unbolted this one, and then I unbolted this one that's supposed to be right here. So if you can see. Yeah, right here to the alternator. You got this bolt right here, which this part connects to where the fuse is. So after unbolting those two, I didn't know where it was connecting, this part with the foil on it. I had no idea where it was connecting to. So I kept pulling and tugging. And then finally I was able to see that it was behind the catalytic converter and a manifold. So I was like, how the hell am I gonna get to that? So I had no idea. So I was thinking, like, okay, like I need to start figuring out what it could possibly be connected to. I was watching a bunch of videos on YouTube, and finally the starter replacement video came up. I was like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense, because the starter should be mounted somewhere on the front of the engine on this car. So then I was watching how to replace the starter on the 2010 Buick, and it finally came up that I saw that damn connector was connected to the left side of the starter. So I was like, all right, sweet, I can finish watching this video and see how they take it off. There's 2 ways you could do this. You can either take the front motor mount, which is right there. You would take this bolt off, and then you would have to take, well, that connects to this. So you would just disconnect this one. Then you would have to get a jack stand and a wooden block to support this, to lift it up a little bit, because you would have to unbolt these two right here. And I believe there's another one right up here somewhere. Yeah, right up here, above this mount on this side. And then these two right here. But I didn't feel safe doing that. So another way that you would be able to do it is you would have to take off this catalytic converter on the front. So then you would have these two bolts to take off. Then you would have to take off the oxygen sensor, which I have sitting up here, to get to this bolt that mounts and holds the catalytic converter in place. And after you would do those, you have to come back to the top, and then you would have to take off, there's a heat sink on top of the manifold, which is right here. So it would be 3 bolts on the front. I believe they're 8 or 10 millimeter. Well, obviously I'm missing one, so I took off those 2. Then you would have to disconnect the O2 sensor, which is just right here. So just disconnect that. Then as soon as you get those 3 bolts off, you literally just lift it out of here. In between here, you would have to obviously disconnect, you know, these hoses, which is easy. And then just pull that heat sink out and leave it all disconnected. And then you would have to take, I believe these are, no, not 13, probably 15. Yeah, so the top 3 bolts on the catalytic converter are 15 millimeters. So you have to just do that one, and there's 2 right here on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, it's in there. Right, yeah, those 3 right there. You have to take those out, and then as soon as you get all those loose, you can literally just pull on the bottom right here. You just pull this flex pipe, it's very flexible. You just literally pull on this down and then lift the catalytic converter up and then around to get it all off. And after you get that, I don't know if you can see right here where I'm pointing at, right here, that's a starter. Right here, this black thing. Yeah, right here, this black thing, and it goes up there. That's the whole starter right here, starter assembly. So as soon as you get this bad boy out of the way, you're able to, there's an 8 millimeter, well, I can see it better. See it better from the top. Where is it at? Yeah, there it is. I'll move the camera. So there'd be an 8 millimeter right there. It's like right in between where that light is. Right under the manifold, there's a little 8 millimeter that would take off the heat sink, or the heat shield, off of the starter. As soon as you get that, now you have more room to be able to get to this cord right here. Right here where this, there's a heat sink right here, and this is a cable where it connects to the starter. I believe that's a 13 millimeter also. So you can just get a wrench in there, or a socket and wrench, take it right out, disconnect it, and literally you would just put everything back the way you took it off. And that's the way I found the fastest way to replace this positive cable that for some reason fried. Yeah, that's it. So other than that, that's about it for this video. Sorry if my comments were pretty bad, but that's the gist of it. Thanks for watching. Later.